And he goes, we're going to start getting rough with these guys. Like that. And I said, what's that mean? So he describes these 10 techniques. And I said, I don't know, man. That sounds like a torture program. And he said, it's not a torture program. We got it cleared by the Justice Department, and the president signed it. He says, think about it. I said, yeah, give me an hour. I need an hour to think about it. I walked out of the cafeteria. I went up to the 7th floor, which is the executive floor. And there was a very, very senior officer up there for whom I had worked 10 years earlier in the Middle East. I knocked on his door, no appointment or anything. And I said, hey, I need some advice. I was just asked if I wanted to be trained in these enhanced interrogation techniques. What do you think of that? And he said, first of all, let's call a spade a spade. He said, this is a torture program. They can use whatever euphemism they want, but this is a torture program, and torture is a slippery slope. He said, you know how these guys are. Somebody's going to be a cowboy. They're going to go overboard, and they're going to kill a prisoner. And when that happens, there's going to be a congressional investigation, then there's going to be a Justice Department investigation, and somebody's going to go to prison. Do you want to go to prison? I said, no, I don't want to go to prison. As it turned out, I was the only person who went to prison, but I said, no, I don't want to go to prison. I went back downstairs. I said, listen, I have a moral.
I feel like if there was a conspiracy theorist training course, the JFK assassination would be like the perfect like dry run training course to like build it around, because you have all the pieces. You have a complex conspiracy with unknown actors from intelligence agencies and organized crime and maybe multiple governments. It's like, and we don't know all that. Then you have a complex cover-up that evolved over time. You have like researchers. You have bad information being fed in from outside. You have conspiracy theorists that are taking it in directions that are like corroborable.
Right.
It's got all the things that you need to both learn how to dig into and learn how to watch out for. It's a lot.
He went and snuck in to this place where like former presidents go. There's a photograph of it's Ronald Reagan with Herbert Walker Bush and a couple other people all standing around. And it's like these are the people that used to hang out at this place, and they would put on robes and they would worship an owl god, and they would burn an effigy. And they're playing. And Alex snuck in and made video footage of this shit. And no one's denying that it's real. This really did happen. So they're in with these bankers and former presidents, and they're dressed like druids.
Yes.
And some guy brings over something that it's an effigy that's supposed to be a body, a wrapped up effigy. It's also a bunch of sticks in a blanket, but it's like shaped like a body.
Yeah.
And then they drop it on the fire, and they're all worshiping an owl god. I think mind control is real, right?
100%.
And I think hypnosis is real, acid is real, and then the techniques that they've developed over decades of fucking with people with these drugs, they know what to do.
Yeah. I mean, the dark thing we don't need to go into it because it's real dark, but I think that when you study the MKUltra files, and this is where there's a lot of conspiracy theories that are hard to prove, there's a bunch of witness victim testimony, but it's hard to prove, is the Monarch programs are an alleged program that never got disclosed, and that's all the program.
Is there a way to mitigate any of this personally? I mean, shutting your phone off doesn't even work, right?
Well, so it does in a way. It's yes and no. The thing with shutting your phone off that is a risk is, how do you know your phone's actually turned off? It used to be when I was in Geneva, for example, working for the CIA. We would all carry like drug dealer phones. The old smartphones, old dumb phones. They're not smartphones, and the reason why was just because they had removable backs where you could take the battery out, right? And the one beautiful thing about technology is if there's no electricity in it, right? If there's no go juice available to it, if there's no battery connected to it, it's not sending anything, because you have to get power from somewhere. You have to have power in order to do work. But now your phones are all sealed, right? You can't take the batteries out. So there are potential ways that you...
No, but in 1963, the Club of Rome came up with a limits to growth plan. And they had models and actuaries, and I have copies of this in my film Endgame. Seminal film, it's free online. Endgame Blueprint for Global Enslavement predicts a virus release to lock things down. Everything's now happening because it's in their own documents. And in the 1963 Limits to Growth Club of Rome plan, they said, we believe there'll be a global ice age by 2020, because the last ice age ended about 12,000 years ago, and we're set for that. We're going to tell the public that actually carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is bouncing solar radiation off the Earth because we've seen volcanoes cause this darkening effect and freezing. So we believe, our scientists believe, that carbon dioxide is going to make the Earth freeze by 2020. And so we've got to have a global regime to take control of all the factories and all the energy and put a tax in for global government in the name of stopping the ice age. Then by about 1987, they went, actually, we think it's going to heat up instead. So they flipped the propaganda. Ask anybody you know.
Okay, but don't you understand that science back then didn't have as much data as they have now?